Hello there, good people. Welcome. My name is Marco. I'm a full stack developer. And sometimes when browsing the web, I come across some interesting stuff. Some stuff that is cool, other stuff that is not so cool. But in this video, I want to try and recreate something that I've seen online and I thought it was very cool. Now, being a developer is always cool to browse the web, the social, and see something interesting and wonder, how is it done? How would I do it? It is good for you because it puts you in that mindset of always learning. And I'm not talking about like very big project, very big things, but it's definitely something that you want to integrate in your website to make it look cooler. Why not? It can be anything like a cool animation on a button or a cool transition, anything. For this video, I want to take something directly from YouTube. Now, if you have ever uploaded something on YouTube, you'll definitely notice the YouTube Studio section where you can add the tags to the video. And that part of it there has always struck me as, that's pretty cool. The functioning is pretty simple. You just type whatever tag you want to type, then you press a comma, and YouTube just display the nicely formatted, nicely styled tag. And then you have the delete button, the X, and you can even hit the backspace to start changing. Maybe you mistyped something. So that is the basic functioning that I want to integrate into this project right here. If you're interested in this, well, stick around. One thing before I can start is that if you enjoy this content, please leave a like and share. And most importantly, leave a comment down below. If you see anything online on the social, just tag me and say, look, Marco, I'd really like to see how you will do this. And you know what? I will try. It could be anything. I mean, you get the idea after this video, but I think I said everything, so let's start. All right, so what I have here in my code editor is a very simple setup with my index.html, which has the HTML, the index.js, which has the JavaScript, and the style.css, which is the styling basically. Now, this is very simple. It's just some basic styling. I'm removing the margin and the padding. I'm setting the font size. I'm setting the background color, the layout and the display, and the font. This is super basic. There's nothing to worry about. And as well, the index.html has some really basic HTML inside. Now, I want to divide this project into logical pieces. And I want to start from the HTML file because it's the simplest one. And you'll see what I mean. The first thing I want to do in my index.html file is to create what I like to always do, is to create a container which will contain all the things that I want to do. Then I'll have my text area. And this is going to have a class of text area, but it's not going to be a text area on itself. And that's because I want to treat this as a div. I want to be able to change it, to modify it. And if I did that on a text area object, like an HTML element, it would be a little bit different. So I want to use a div. I'm going to give it a class of text area. And then inside of this, I'm going to have a span. And this span is actually going to have a class of tags. And inside these tags span, I'm going to have all my tags. But I don't have any tags now. So I will have another span. And this is going to be like text content. Okay. And this is going to be basically my pilot. The thing that is going to be in front of the tags all the time and where I can actually write something. So I need to give a bit of different things here. And the first thing I wanted to say is content editable, not edible, is true. This means that I can edit the content in this pen. And if I really want to go a bit further, I'm gonna set the spell check as false. This might look a bit weird. Okay, so now, believe it or not, the HTML is done. This is all the HTML I need. I got my text area, I got where the tags are going to be displayed, and inside I have basically where I'm going to type everything that goes into the tag. And even if I open this with live server, there should be anything basically, because nothing is there, nothing has a style, a width or a height. I misspelled container and this must be corrected, but basically I got everything in here. So you got the text area with the tags inside and the text content. Let's fix container. This is probably the hardest word to spell. Okay, let's save it. Now it's time for some styling. So as I said at the beginning, it's a weird combination of, this project is a weird combination of CSS and JavaScript. Most of the work will be done with JavaScript, but CSS is fundamental for, getting the result we want. So having the tags, having, all that sort of stuff. So the first thing I want to do is to grab the container and just set a min width of 100% so that is as large as the body. Then I'm going to grab the text area, and here I need a few bits and pieces of information. So first of all, I want a display of flex. Okay, then I'll set a border of 1 pixel solid. This is going to be black. This is some basic styling, really nothing fancy about this. I'm gonna have a border radius just to have those beautiful rounded corners of 0.5 rem. I'm gonna set a minimum height so that I have like 15 rem of minimum height so that I can see it. Then I'm gonna specify a width, and I'm gonna use the min function, and I want the minimum between 90% and 50 rems. 50 rems, nice. I'm gonna give it a padding so that my text inside is gonna be, not too attached to the border. I'm gonna give it a background color of white so that it is visible on a black background. Of course, the color inside here is gonna be black. Nice. Then I'm gonna say that I want a max height. I don't want this to get too high, 30 rems. And I want to have a font family of inherit. Actually, this is not even necessary. And one last thing is the flex wrap property. I want it set to wrap. And this is what it's going to turn everything inside into, a nice looking thing. Now the next thing is going to be the tags. And here I'm going to set a flex of 1 so that it's always going to be, because remember the tags is actually inside the text area. And since it is a display of flex, I want it to just take up all the available space. Now I got a flex of 1. I'm just going to set an outline of none so that I don't want to see it when I focus on it. Okay. And this as well is going to be a display of flex. I'm going to have a gap of 3 pixels so that my tags are going to be nicely spaced. I'm going to have a flex wrap of wrap so that my tags are going to be like responsive. I'm going to align the items in the center. The height is going to be a max content so that it's not higher than the thing it has inside. But I also want to put a min height of 3 rems. And this is quite important because if I don't, at first there is nothing inside. So this div would be like, it would have a height of 0 and I cannot select it. And that's not really what I want, because I want to be able to select it, because I want to be able to get to this pen over here, which is a content editable of true. And if I cannot see it, the height is 0, I will not be able to select it. So this is what I was talking about, the weird combination of CSS. You need to have a min height of 3 rem or even 4 or 5 rem, whatever you want. And now it comes the fun part, the tag itself. I want to be a position of relative, and you'll see why in a bit. Of course, I want my outline to be none, so that when I select it, it doesn't do anything. For now, I'm gonna select a background color of black and a color of the text of white, so that it's like high contrast. Then I'm gonna have a padding inside of, let's say 3 EM up and down and 6 EM left and right. Nice. I will have some radius on the border, so it's like nicely rounded. And one last thing, I want a margin. Top and bottom is going to be 0, and left and right, just say 3 pixels. Why not? And this is my tag. Now, to show you how that looks like, I can even start putting it in here. So I want this to be like a span, and let's say hello there for now. This is going to be my first tag, and this is going to have a class of tag. If I save it, this is what it's going to look like. Now this is on the left because I forgot probably on the text area to put a margin. Yeah. To fix this, I just said margin 0 auto, and this should fix it. Okay, now it's in the center. So now this is basically my tag. This is how the tag is gonna look like. I want to do one more thing, and I show you now. I want to add a button like the X on the YouTube text area that I showed at the beginning to remove the entire tag. So what I want to do now is add something to this span, and basically I want to add a button that when I click it, I can remove the entire tag. And I'm gonna do it with a bit of a trick. Now, this is going to be a bit awkward, but basically what I want to do is create 2 inputs. The first input is going to be hidden, and it's going to have a name, of course, of delete, and a value of false, let's say, okay? The second input is going to be of type checkbox. I want to use a checkbox, and also I want to give a class to the label so that I can grab it with the CSS. And the name is going to be custom checkbox, because this is actually going to be a custom checkbox. Now the name is going to be delete as well, and the value is going to be of true. So I think I can even, not like this, I can remove this as well. Okay, so now I have an input and an input of a checkbox. One last thing I want to have is a span, and inside this I want to have whatever the symbol I want to be displayed, because you'll see these two will not be displayed. Actually, let me just add a class to this so that I can select it. This is custom checkbox input. This is the actual input, and this is going to be the custom checkbox text. Okay. Now, if I go and look at this, it looks like this, which is very, very ugly. I don't want the checkbox to be displayed, but I got my X. And pay attention to what happens when I click it. I am checking the checkbox. So basically I'm manipulating the checkbox as well. And this was the entire thing behind the HTML that I've done. Now, how can I make it look good? Well, I just need to hide that ugly checkbox. And that is actually very simple. If I go here and say custom checkbox input, I'm gonna say a display of none so that I don't see it. And let me add something to the text as well, just because it looks better. The text is here. I'm gonna have an opacity of 0.6, why not? I'm gonna give it a padding of left so that it's a little bit to the side from the tag of, let's say 5 rem, 0.5. And of course I want to give it a cursor of pointer so that when I go over it, I can see the pointer actually. And now it looks much better. When I go over it, I can see the pointer, and if I click it, you cannot see it because it's not displayed. but the checkbox actually changes state from true, from checked, gets to unchecked, and vice versa. What I can do, I can even give it an overstate just to make it a little bit better. Over, the opacity goes back to 1. And save, and if I go over it now, oh yeah, nice. Beautiful. One other thing that you can notice is that I have a cursor here, and if I write something, I can write whatever I want, because basically this is, you know, let's see if I can show it. So inside the tags, which is the entire div where the tags are, I got this, my pilot, okay? And since content editable is true, I can edit content inside it. Now I have this ugly outline, and that's because I need the styling on that as well. That is going to be just text content because that's the name I've given, and the outline is going to be none. The flex is going to be 1. I always want it to be as big, like the biggest it can be inside the div. And I can even do a text overflow of clip. Actually, I don't need this now. I can just do this. And just like this, you see that there is no outline anymore. Nice, I can write as much as I want. And as soon as I hit the comma, I want this to be turned into the tag. And to do that, I'm going to use JavaScript. So this is the moment for some JavaScript. Let's do it. The style is done. The HTML is done. I can even, well, I'm not going to remove this. So the first few things I want to do in JavaScript is to select the elements I need to work with. The first is the text area. This is a document dot query selector. Okay. And I'm selecting the text area. Text area, yeah. Then I want to select the text content, which is going to be my pilot basically. And I'm gonna call it text area content. Content, why not? And last, I want the tags, basically the div where the tags are going to be. And this can be the tag area. Okay, so now basically I got my element selected, and what I want to do is add an event to text area content, okay, because I am typing in the text area. So I'm going to add an event listener, and I'm going to add a click event. I get access to the event and I give it a callback function. And what I want to do now is do a simple check. So if the text content of this text area, text content, so basically what I'm typing, okay, match a particular pattern, and I can use a regular expression here. My regular expression is going to be this, and now I'm going to explain it. So the /s means white spaces. So basically, if the match of the string, if the string matches like empty spaces and a comma, the star means 0 or plus. So if you have 5 empty spaces and then a comma, or if you have a comma, just that, this is going to be true. And what I want to do is to create a tag. And the tag is going to have like a text inside, some kind of text, okay? And then what I want to do is to remove the text content from the pilot. So basically what I'm doing, I'm transferring the text inside the tag, and I'm deleting the text content inside the pilot. Now this is, of course, it's not going to work because I don't have a create tag function, but I'm gonna do it now. If I create tag, it takes a text, and what does it do with this text? Well, it's kind of straightforward. So first of all, I'm gonna create an element. As I think we can take inspiration from this. Basically, I want to create this span over here. I want to give it a class of tag. I want to have a text inside, and then this entire HTML inside as well. So first of all, I'm going to create an element, and this is going to be a span. Then I'm going to give it a class. So class list.add, and the class is tag. Then I want to basically give it a text content. Okay, so whatever is inside, and it's equal to the text. And I'm going to use trim so that I eliminate any white space there might be. Then I need to create the label. So I will create the label again, document.createElement. Create element. Okay, this time is a label. And I'm going to give it a class to this of, what was it? Custom checkbox. So this is going to be my label for the X, and I'm going to set an inner HTML this time because it's just, too much. And I'm not going to type it all, so I just want to delegate to another function. I'm just going to say like this. Once I've done that, I need to append the label to the tag. So basically, I am creating the node, the element of label, and I want to append it to this span element, exactly this structure. I'm creating the label and I'm putting it inside of the span. Last but not least, I need to put this beautiful tag, newly created tag, inside the tag area basically. But I don't want to do an append child, because if I do an append child, it's gonna append it at the last position. So it's always going to be in front of my pilot, and I don't want that. I want to insert it before the pilot. And there is actually a method which is called insert before. And this is what I'm gonna use. And you need to say, what do I want to insert? A tag. And before what? Well, the text area content. That is my pilot. Now this whole thing is going to create the tag. It's going to run as soon as I type a comma, but it's not going to work still because I don't have this function. So let's create this function as well. Function, it's going to be like this. It's not going to take any argument. The only thing this is going to return, I just use a string literal so that I can go on multiple lines. This is going to represent basically my inner HTML, and I can just copy paste this whole thing, and just this, because I am creating the label here. So I want just the HTML that goes inside the label. And this is it. This is basically it. Now I want to eliminate this tag so that I don't have it, and I want to see if it works. Let's test it. I can edit something. Hello there. And I press a comma and nothing happens. Because oh yeah, right. So right here, this text doesn't exist. I need to change this. So let's do like this. Let's create this text. So now, this is a string, and I don't want the comma. The tag is just going to be the word, not the comma. So what I can do is take this text area content, .text content, and split it on the comma. This is going to return an array. One is going to be the word and the other is going to be the comma itself. And of those two elements, I just want to grab the first one. Okay? So I just do this. And this now should work. And it doesn't, of course. Why doesn't it work? Oh, you know why? Because the event listener is not on a click, it's on an input. Whatever I input in this, that's a silly mistake. So the event I'm listening to is the input, not the click. Now, if I do something, let me do hello there. Now it works. Nice. And if I type even another one like Hulk, smash, it works again. Beautiful. Now it's working, but it's not really as... does it look bigger? No. It's not really like YouTube, because if I go back, hit my backspace to delete something, it doesn't really work. How can I fix that? Well, first of all, I want to fix this one because it's probably simpler. And now I can select it, I can grab it, and I select it like custom delete tag. And of course I want to select that checkbox, the checkbox that is hidden. I can have access to it. That is as a class of custom checkbox input. Even if it's not displayed, it's on the document. So I can select it and I can add an event to it. But to do that, I'm going to use the document itself, because basically what happens when you load the page, JavaScript will run and will add all the events it has to add, but the tag is not going to be on the page when you load it. It's going to be there like dynamically. You add it when you type. So there is not going to be any event because it wasn't there when the page loaded at first. So to solve that, you can add an event to the document itself. The document is always going to be there, and use the matches function. So if the event.target, so the thing that I'm clicking in this case, matches, okay, a span. So basically what I'm clicking, it is a span, and this is quite important because I don't want to be triggered all the times that I click a span. I can get an attribute. I want to get the attribute of class, and what is that equal to? If that is equal to custom checkbox text, so basically I am clicking the text. I want to do something, and the easiest thing that I can do is just to remove the target, remove the closest. Basically I'm checking the closest parent that is a span and has a class of tag. So basically I'm selecting that, and when I select it, I want to remove it. And just like this, we should have hello there, and if I click this, it should disappear. Beautiful. How is that nice? Now the last thing that I want to do is to make sure that I can delete when I press the backspace. To do that, I'm going to add another event listener. This time is always going to be on the text area, which is the one that basically embeds everything. I'm going to add an event listener, and the event API is quite resourceful, and there are lots of events, and one is key down, which is similar to input, but with the key down event, you get access to a particular thing, which is the key code. So key code, now every single key that you press has a code, okay? So backspace has a code as well, and in this case is equal to 8. So what I'm saying now is every key down, every key press on the text area, give me the key code. If it's 8, it means that is a backspace, and I want to listen for that. But I need another condition, because if I just hit backspace, it's not enough. Maybe I'm deleting just what I've typed so far. Text area, to go back to the tag, the text area, the text content of the text area needs to be empty. Now, we can even do triple equal. Now I know that I'm basically at the border and I want to delete the tag. I want to start deleting the tag. So what I can do is just select the last tag. I know that it's in the tag area. Okay. I want to grab the last element child, which in this case is the pilot. But now that I have this selected, I can select its sibling, just the previous element sibling. Like this, I am selecting basically the last tag. And what do I want to do with it? Well, if there is a last tag, because I can even be like at the border and there's nothing, if there is a last tag, I want to get the text content of the tag, the last tag, text content, okay? So basically now they're gonna have the same text content, and I'm going to remove the last tag, and that's simple. Last tag, remove. Just like this, I should be able, when I type something, hello there again, if I like something else and I go back, when I'm here, I'm actually going to be inside here. Now, this looks a bit weird. First of all, because I still got this element that I don't want, and this is the text content, so it's copied correctly. But most importantly, the cursor is at the beginning, and I don't want to go back and delete this, and then, okay, there are people, then again, and it works again, and then go back and do the whole procedure again. I want the cursor to be always at the end. And to do that, this is a bit tricky. It can be done, of course. And I can tell you that I can create a function. Let's create a function that does that. Set text cursor at end. I need an element inside. So at the end of what? So the element is going to be the pilot, basically, the text content. This, I cannot really explain it. I must admit, I've taken this from Stack Overflow, and I really haven't figured it out, which is fine, because in programming, you don't always have to understand everything. This function, what this function does, and I can even copy paste this from here to here. Now, what this function does, it's basically taking the cursor and putting it at the end of this particular element. What it does, it's creating a range, it's collapsing it. I mean, it's not really important to know what it does, as long as it works. And what do I want to do is here, use it here. So what is the element? Is the text area content. Let's see if this works. Hello there. When I go back, look where I am. Now I'm at the end, and I can say, hello there, people. And maybe I can, I don't know, hook smash, subscribe. And what can I say? Leave a like. Leave a like and share. Okay. And even if I do command to delete everything, look at this. It's amazing. It's just follow me. Okay, I can even not put like white spaces. If I leave white spaces like this, oh, it gets higher like this because I'm using the trim. So now you see that it works exactly like the one on YouTube. So I say mission accomplished for this first random project. I really hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like and share. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. One last thing I want to show you is the fact that thanks to the CSS, this is always going to be super responsive. If I add a bunch of crap and stuff like that, this is now going on a new line. And look how orderly this is displayed. Okay, so this is the power of CSS and JavaScript combined. Now this is all. I'll see you at the next one. Ciao.